Hey, how are y'all doing? Today I will be doing my speech on male hormonal cycle. Male hormonal cycle is like a period to women in a way, but males they have a cycle that lasts about 24 hours from morning, afternoon to evening. And this can last up to a day, a week, a month, or a season. They say that the male testosterone level is very high in November and April. Males, their testosterone levels can vary throughout the day, and then estrogen also like tries to balance the two out within that day. And then these males also from these two hormones can experience different moods. Testosterone is like a male sex hormone which stimulates the the testes, which can produce sperm. So they have the testosterone level has morning, afternoon, and evening. The morning is when the testosterone level is at its highest. So like let's say the men they're very aggressive in the morning and they're focused and they're talkative, but then at the same time they have that little bit of anger in them. So, like, for instance, you ask a man in the morning questions, you most likely will receive a no from him because he just doesn't want to be bothered and wants to be on his own. And that will occur during the morning. But then when we get towards the afternoon, this is when their testosterone level starts to level out. It's like starting to get in the middle a little bit, and they are a little focused still, but then mellow at the same time. So like they'll start to warm up to you and want to have somebody by their side, and they won't. They're not as aggressive. They're starting to calm down and do their thing with somebody else. They're not wanting to be alone. They'll rather have somebody with them by their side. And as we get towards the evening, this is when the testosterone level is at its lowest. So like they are very passionate, agreeable, um, and then like for example, we have where you do ask them questions towards the evening. This is when he will start saying yes and more agreeable to you and want to talk to you and be around you. But then at the same time, they are tired and want to go to bed. But they have erections throughout the day, but mostly they have a really big erection in the morning when their high testosterone level is very high and at its highest. So that's when they really want to have sex. But then towards the evening, that's when they want to have passionable sex, like more romance and stuff. But if it was in the morning, they would want it to be rough because that's when their testosterone level is very high and they can't control it. So as we go from testosterone, we're going to go into estrogen. Estrogen is like testosterone in a way, but it's the opposite. Estrogen tries to balance the two out. So, like for instance, estrogen will if they if the man has a lot of fat on him, then they will that's more high estrogen than and it will have a low testosterone. So like one's high and one's low. So like if high testosterone is high, estrogen would be low. It's always the opposite of each two. So like a little balance. And then if the estrogen is very high, it can lead to prostate cancer, which you don't really want it to be really high. You want to actually have it balanced out, but if you can't, I mean, it is what it is. So it does really affect the men and them being overweight. So like if they have more fat around their body, stomach area, their estrogen is going to be really high, and then they won't really have a testosterone level. It'll be really low most of the time. So you want to try to balance that out within the two. So I would try to like exercise more, and if you have really good high testosterone, that means you have more strength and all that. So you want to make sure the two are good between each other. Lastly, the men, they experience very different moods, such as they have depression, anger, violence, and then they get really stressed out. So these different moods that they experience while they're on their cycle, depressed, they really just want to like, they don't want to deal with nothing, which is mostly in the morning. They just want to be by themselves and just not be bothered by nothing except for them. So, and then they get really stressed out a lot lately. If you see that they starting to stress a lot, then that's mostly when their cycle is occurring, and they stress out about very little things and such. Well, then you would like they'll start to feel like they're going through that cycle, and then they get very um, angry, like in the mornings and stuff. If they get very angry and stuff, just leave them alone, and they'll cool off within the day as it goes by. But they really get really aggressive, and I don't know, they have a lot of really mood swings. And if you read up on these, like the moods and stuff, just let them go through it, and then by the end of the day, just don't let it get to you, because you know how us women, we're very sensitive towards things. Just don't let it get to you. They'll calm down by the end of the day, and they'll understand, and everything will be all right usually. So male testosterone and estrogen and the different types of moods are all three things that take place in a male hormone cycle. They're mostly three common ones that I have looked up on for the background and information towards it. I would recommend, if you're experiencing these different types of moods, to go see a doctor, and maybe he can prescribe you some medications. Some medications that certain men have received from doctors are maca, ginseng, oysters, and pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds, they have a really high zinc in them, so like helps with the testosterone level to keep it up and keep it high and balance it out between the two. And then that would actually help out, but then I wouldn't take like steroids and stuff like that, because that would just really make it worse, especially if you're on the cycle that you're occurring. And women, we go through the same thing. We have a period too, and we didn't know men had a cycle, but it's starting to, doctors are starting to experience and discover certain types of cycles men are experiencing. So we both have different periods and cycles, but at the end of the day, we both have, we both genders play a role and have to experience it somehow throughout our lifetime. That's mostly all I have to say about male hormonal cycle. And if you could, thank you guys for listening, and y'all have a wonderful day. Thanks.